All right, now what we're going to talk about is the project statement. Part of assignment 2 is a project statement, or at least two portions of the project statement, which we were going to talk about in a moment. So throughout planning, information should be documented for use in the formal facility design stage, and it is called project statement or program statement. And it assists the architect in the facility design. I know we talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago. It might have been last week. I'm not sure. Every day, you know what they say, every day seems to blend into another, and weeks and months and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to go through the project statements to make sure everyone has this. The information comes from early assessment and planning efforts, and when approved by administrators, it is the first formal commitment in the planning process. So you see your master plan is guiding you along the way. And then from that, okay, we're going to build a community center and open it by the fall of 2020. Our project statement is that statement that they use for that one facility or one project they're going to be working on. Let's see what the next slide is. The elements of a project statement. So we have, is it 9 different areas, I believe? Objective, basic assumptions, trends, comparisons, primary space or auxiliary space, space relationships, service needs, environmental impact, equipment and furniture list. Those are all elements of your project statement when building or putting a building together. Or it could be when you're doing a renovation or an addition, retrofit. Okay, the objective. We have objective. It's the main statement in the project statement. So objectives are concrete statements that describe the things the project is trying to achieve. They are included in your project charter. An objective should be written in a way that it can be evaluated at the conclusion of a project to see whether it was achieved. A well-worded objective will be specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So SMART, we have a SMART goal, a SMART objective. I'm hoping some of you have used that in class for different assignments or in different parts of your program. Example of an objective statement might be to upgrade a customer service telephone system by December 31st to achieve average client wait time to no more than 2 minutes. This is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Okay, so that's your objective. The next one is, we have another example here, 2 examples that you can pause and read. Then we are continuing to the objective here. And the objective of the project statement describes the specific delivery of the product and how the facility will serve its potential users. It should state the anticipated outcomes of the facility, including the primary core product delivery areas of the facility. All right, first important part of a project statement, we need an objective. In your assignment 2, remember this part. Come back, listen to it again. Second part, assignment 2 needs to have this in your project statement. This is the basic assumption. The basic assumption cites how the facility will solve current problems. This section often identifies current programs and facility offerings. It identifies desired activities and programs that the agency would like to offer. All right, so this is what you're going to be putting in your assignment 2. You're going to do a basic assumption. So you have to use some imagination here. The building that you're designing, what current problem is it solving? Is that maybe your community that you're designing is, maybe there isn't any like it in town. Maybe you don't have it. Like I mentioned with the Aurelia pool and the rec center they're building, the pool they were using was at the Highwayman Inn. It was like a hotel. It is a hotel pool, so not very good. Does have lengths, it doesn't have a certain size that they can, it's just really not structured very well to offer lessons. But they've been working with it, okay? So this is what they're doing for the pool. For the fitness center, the city of Orillia doesn't have their own fitness center. They want to put a fitness center in. They have a running track they're putting in. So these sort of things, you can see how this facility will solve current problems. Okay, this is what your basic assumption is telling you. The next part of your project statement is trends. Trends reflect how society is changing and how those changes affect demand for the product. Trends may play a major role in driving the project. They could include technological advancement, legal requirements, population growth in the area, and public interest in the core product. So one trend that's, I wouldn't really say a trend, but maybe it kind of falls into a trend when you're talking about legal requirements is AODA. So any of the requirements that are in AODA, so the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities, is, could be, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a trend, but it is something that a legal requirement. So buildings need to change and update their accessibility. Technological advancements, there's different things that happen there. It could be bringing in a new computer system. It could be a new lighting system, things like that. It could be, population growth in the area, like in Westridge in Orillia, or in the south end of Barrie. We saw East Bayfield be built, and then we saw Hawley, and I think they're planning another center in the south end of Barrie, rec center, multi-use center. Public interest in the core product. So maybe it's just hockey. Everyone in Canada, you could offer hockey 365 days of the year, and you'd have people show up to play. So ice arenas are always a big thing. Every community has an ice arena. Possible when your time starts at 5 in the morning and goes till midnight, you might need another ice arena, right? Just to lessen the time and demand on facilities. So public interest in the core product. So the next one after trends, any idea what that might be? Well, actually, I'll give you one example here of another trend. Activity pools or splash pads. Lots of communities like to build these. Orillia put one in a few years ago close to the downtown. Barrie has one down at Heritage Park. So a activity pool could be a trend that they would be more popular. It's kind of a cooling area for kids, people when the weather's hot, and it doesn't really require a lifeguard supervision, although they do say that children should be supervised by an adult. Okay, the next one is a comparison. The comparison section compares existing facilities or competition and how they affect the core product and core product extensions of the proposed facility. It also reflects comparisons with recreation facilities in other communities that may be perceived as desirable. So that's why you do your tours around to different communities, especially if they're new buildings. You go down and see the Magna Center in Newmarket, or you go to Hawley Recreation Center in Barrie, or you come up to the Orillia one that's going to be open. And if you're maybe you're Collingwood and you want to put up a new multi-use center, come to the Orillia Center, view it, see the newest and greatest stuff that they have. So comparison is a big part, and it can create political support for a facility. So if you show photos, do a PowerPoint, do a video of a tour that you went on, you could sell your political group in your community on approving your plans. So it demonstrates how existence or non-existence of a potential facility will affect the market in the community and how a new facility might compare with others. Next one, primary space. Primary space section describes the spaces needed to provide the core product of the facility. The description should include a list of the spaces that are being planned within the facility, along with the size and function of each area. Okay, so what is your primary space? Is it Eastview Arena, where it's just an arena with change rooms? Or is it, what's another good idea? Putting up a new golf course. Is golf. Your primary space is used for golfing. Okay, there's also those core product extensions that complement your primary space. Okay, but you need to figure out what your primary space is. That's the main reason you're building your building. Okay, if it's a multi-use center, sometimes it has hockey arenas, fitness centers, pools. So maybe there's more than one primary space. Auxiliary space. Auxiliary space section lists the name and size of the spaces for the core product extension areas. So included in this list should be the requirements of the area and any specialized equipment to be used. This includes food and beverage outlets, equipment rentals, checkout space, office space, parking, reception, lobby areas. These are all different auxiliary spaces. Okay, some of them are core product extensions that bring in money. Others are ancillary spaces that are there but don't bring in money. Service needs. The service needs section describes the maintenance functions that the facility will require. This part of the program statement or project statement is often poorly addressed by the planning team and is sometimes even omitted. Service needs. Okay. Barrie Campus, athletic facility, we had designed the storage room along the full gym. So that storage room, I think there's 1, 2, 3 rooms that actually go along the far side of the gym, the long side. The biggest storage room is probably, I'm going to say 100 feet long and about 30 feet wide, or around that size. You can never have too much storage. Maintenance areas. Where are you going to store your floor cleaner that you drive around? Your mops, your buckets, you need sinks, you need storage for your toilet paper, your paper towels, your cleaning supplies. It's often omitted and overlooked because it's an area that users don't see, but it's vitally important to the success of your building. Okay, where are we next? Space relationships. Describe how all the areas of the facility will relate to one another, including the flow of users and employees throughout the facility. So is it all kind of disjointed and people have to go upstairs, downstairs, down a hall here and there? Or is it you come in the main building, there's a welcome desk. The change rooms are past that. You know, there's a concession or food area. There's open area to sit down. This section summarizes overall operation of the areas, bringing them together efficiently. So when you're putting your assignment 2 together, think about the space relationships of your change rooms, your gym, your pool, your ski hill, your soccer field, your skate park, your equestrian center, whatever you're building. Okay? It could include diagrams depicted the functional relationships of all production and delivery areas. So you have to take those into account. Okay. Environmental impact, second last one. Environmental impact section provides a detailed description of the surrounding environment and how the facility may affect it. Like I mentioned, the Lovers Creek at National Pines. Typical environmental concerns include water runoff, vegetation impact, such as tree loss or other loss of natural vegetation, facility appearance, and effects on habitat. I have a story for you here. Aurelia Campus, Georgian College, we were putting in a new entranceway. So the old entranceway, it was good, worked, but we put in the residence building, so we had to redo our entranceway. Well, the entranceway was going to be quite a lot better, you know, an island down the middle with trees and plants. But what they were going to, there was a treat area. So in this treat area, they had to do an assessment first. One of the trees was a butternut tree. Now, if you know anything about butternut trees in Ontario or in the world, I'm not exactly sure, but they're becoming, I think the word is endangered with trees, but this was a large butternut tree. Like you could you couldn't get your arms around it. So this was right on the road where they wanted to put the road in Orillia. What were they going to do? They had this thing, this tree, marked. Nothing was happening yet. They're still doing the assessment. They came in, they brought in a DNA expert on flora, I guess trees and plants. They drilled the core of the tree, just a very small core, take a sample. Apparently this butternut tree was very pure butternut, and if we were to cut it down and the ministry had found out about it, it would have been, guess how many dollar fine this would have been? Any guesses? Close. $1 million fine we would have got if we had cut down that tree. Well, the ministry eventually did give us approval to cut the tree down, but we needed to plant 100 other butternut trees. So that was, even if it cost $10,000, it would be a lot less than cutting down that one mature butternut tree. The tree ended up getting cut down. I'm sure they sold it for a good amount of money, but the college also ended up planting 100 other butternut trees. Okay, last one. Equipment and furniture list. The equipment and furniture list is an extensive identification of all movable and fixed facility items. And we're going to get in depth. There's a whole chapter on furniture and equipment later coming up. It includes all items, mechanical and otherwise, it will be needed for the production and delivery operations of the core product and core product extensions. So equipment, huge portion. It's basically everything in your building. Okay, we'll get right into that in another chapter. This is the end of the project statement.